Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game, where we're here for the review of Crystal Palace versus West Ham United. I'm joined by two guests tonight. We've got the regular Gonzo. Hello, Gonzo.
Good evening, sir.
And we've got a new person. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Ryan from West Ham Fan TV. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, Ryan. Thank you for giving up your time, a bit like Nicky did a couple of weeks ago for us.
Nah, thanks for having me on, mate.
Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight and watching our show. If you're a new person, remember to hit the subscribe button. Now, you might not have heard us from before because you might be joining us from the West Ham Central website, and we would like to say thank you to them for popping our videos onto their website. If you've never been on West Ham Central before, the link will be below the video. Now let's crack on. Crystal Palace. Gonzo, I believe you've got a chum that's a Palace fan and you just waiting to get your views on Crystal Palace out. So come on then, let's have them.
Yeah, no, my best man at my wedding is a big Palace fan and he don't stop talking about them, so I hear about them all the time. Very good, so I don't think they're sort of win or bust really this season. I think they've not drawn a game. Won 5, lost 3, I believe. Very, very good team. Pardew's got them playing in a really exciting manner, and they've got Balassi, who's full of skill, Zaha, who's full of skill. They brought Connor Wickham, who's not really been involved that much. They've got Gale again, and all these players are very, very quick. And then what you've got is the hub providing service to these guys of punching, but Cabaye really, which was a really surprising purchase and goes to show the strength of the Premier League's buying power. I think they're going to be a real test for us actually at the weekend.
Right, what's your view on Palace and on Pardew? Were you a fan of Pardew? Are you impressed with what he's doing over there?
Yeah, well, the time he was in charge of us, he gave us 3 great years, 2 playoff finals, an FA Cup final. It's a shame what happened to him in the end, but he was a great appointment for Crystal Palace. When they really needed him last season, he's come in, he's done wonders. And I agree, I mean, they've got some good players down there. Big fan of Balassi, Zaha. Cabaye was a massive coup. I mean, he should have been in a West Ham shirt, but he obviously went to Palace. But yeah, no, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game on Saturday. They're a good team. Like I said, we've got similar sort of records this season. I mean, there's only a point in it, but we seem to beat the big boys and lose to the sort of teams around us when they're doing the opposite. They're losing to the bigger teams. I think they lost to Arsenal at home, City. Well, they're not a big team, but Tottenham. And yeah, so similar sort of records, really.
Yeah, I have to agree with you both. I'm impressed by them. I was impressed by them against West Brom a couple of weeks ago as well. Pulis had zero intention of having a shot on target that game, I don't think. Never mind scoring a goal. They just sat in, but Palace had to proper fight to break them down, and they did it. And I think that was a huge sign. That's something we've struggled doing, actually, I think, this season sometimes against the lesser sides, if you want to call it that. But we've got a Crystal Palace fan on the show, which you will see in a wee minute. Before we move on to that, team news. I think it's touch and go for a couple of our players. Obviously, we played Reading in the behind closed doors friendly where Carroll and Valencia came through that. Carroll got on the score sheet as well. Zarate scored that blinding goal. Look, Bonner's probably a bit doubtful. It's probably a bit too soon for him, but you never know West Ham these days. I think they do quite well to keep their injuries hidden, and we've seen a few surprises in the lineups this season so far, unlike the last couple of seasons where you could almost predict it a week before. The referee on Saturday, Gonzo, do you think this makes any difference? It's Matt Clattenburg.
Oh, mate, Clattenburg, Battenberg. You know me, referees, it don't make any difference to me, mate. We got to play well ourselves. We got to influence proceedings. I think we're just going to set our stall up. We're going to be defending. They're going to come at us with pace, and hopefully, Payet can use his class, and we can nick a goal or two. But the referees, hopefully, he doesn't influence matters. I don't want to be here in a week's time or whatever on Monday discussing the referee missing a penalty appeal or anything like that. No, thank you, mate.
Well, I like him. I'm a big fan of Matt Clattenburg. I think he's one of the better referees in the league, so I'm actually glad he's going to be the man in the middle on Saturday. But it's time to hear from our Palace fan with our feature, Who Are You? This is Who Are You, where we speak to the opposition fan of Crystal Palace this week, and we've got a Crystal Palace fan with us, unfortunately. Crystal Palace fan, introduce yourself.
Well, hi guys. Hello to all you hammers out there. I'm Sam. I'm a mad Crystal Palace fan, and I'm ready to give you the lowdown on my team and just why we're going to beat you.
Well, let's start with my team first of all, Sam. What's the Crystal Palace opinion on West Ham United?
Oh, what a start to the season! Similar to us. I've watched a lot of West Ham, and I'm impressed. One player stands out above anybody else, and that's Payet. I'm sure you guys eulogise it about him pretty often. If you can hang on to him at the end of the season, I think you've done well. He's a great player. But what's impressed me about West Ham? Playing with that sense of freedom, they're going away from home and getting results. And I think there's a lot of comparisons between the two teams. You know, we went to Chelsea and got a result. You guys have gone to great teams and got results. And we're not scared of anyone. And I think that's the change in the Premier League this season especially.
Indeed. I think there's going to be very similar lineups and styles that we're going to see on Saturday. But we'll get a prediction at the end of this. But first of all, what's your Palace view then? You must, like you said, you've just been impressed, but is there anyone that we need to watch out for? Any team news that you could give us about your own side?
Palace at the moment, I think we've got a great nucleus of squad, a very strong spine. We've got players like Scott Dan that I still can't believe isn't going to get an England call up. I really rate him quite highly. But the one weakness I think we've got at Palace is our goal scorer, our forward. We sold Glenn Murray, which I was disappointed by. I'd like to have seen him stay till January till we've got money for a replacement. Dwight Gale's a good player, but he's not the ideal man to lead the line up front of his own. Which brings me to the player that you probably want to watch, in the sense that I think he's a bit bizarre for a striker if he starts. Connor Wickham should be back from injury. He was a huge part of our win away at Chelsea without scoring. He battles, he wins headers, and when you've got players behind him with pace and skill like Yannick Bolasie, Wilfried Zaha, Sakho, we have a lot of what I describe as fast-paced, quick midfielders or quick-paced wingers that will receive the knockdowns and have a go at goal. With Palace, you're not facing a normal striker, whether Dwight Gale starts or whether Connor Wickham starts. You don't play that forward. You're not going to watch out for our strikers. It's our midfielders that are going to score the goals.
Yeah, it's a bit similar to us, I suppose. But talk about that then. Give us your score prediction then, Sam.
My Palace fan hat has got me saying 2-1 Palace. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, but if I had to put a pound on it, I'd be looking at the draw. I think the draw is a fair result between two good sides. I don't think it would be as cagey, given we're coming back off an international break, and neither of these teams are going to be too worried about the result. If we lose, it's not the end of our season. Same with yourselves. They'll say it's a London derby. It's not, frankly. It's not an important game in that sense. So I'll go the draw, I think. I'll go the 1-1 draw.
Well, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for popping on and giving up your time, Sam.
Not a problem. And thank you for the 3 points you're going to give us on Saturday.
Well, wait to see. Well, that's all from Who Are You? A massive thanks to Sam for popping on and giving us his view about West Ham and Crystal Palace. But now it's time to see these guys think any different to what Sam does. Ryan, we'll start with you. How would you like to see us set up for this? Is there any changes you would like to see us make? Because we've obviously got a couple of players coming back.
Yeah, I think we're probably set up the same as we did in the last game against Sunderland. I think I like Lanzini a lot. I like the way he gets the ball and he runs at players and he's not afraid to shoot. Obviously, we know Dimitri Payet. I mean, at the back, I think it's going to be the same. I don't think there'll be many changes. It'll be who's going to be on the bench for this game because, as we know, Valencia's back now. He could get a run out, which would be good. Andy Carroll, Zarate. I mean, you see his couple of goals the other day, and he looks banging form at the moment. So he's pushing for a starting 11. I think Bilic got a headache on his hand, but it's a good headache. You know, it's what we ain't had for a little while.
Yeah, I agree with that. Moses is obviously going up against his former club. I suppose prior to that, he's one player I wouldn't mind seeing drop out. I thought he's been pretty iffy against Norwich and Sunderland. I know he set up Jenkins's goal, but I don't think he offered very much apart from that. Like you said, Zarate's banging for him. He intrigues me, Zarate, actually. I think he's looked good when he's come on the last couple of games as well. A bit like Lanzini, getting the ball and running at players. That's maybe what we need at Palace a wee bit. Gonzo, what's your view? Any changes you'd like to see?
No, not really. Stick with it. You know, I'm a fan of Lanzini, but I think I was a fan of Lanzini from the time with Allardyce when we were crying out for a little bit of skill. You know, we were crying out for Morrison or Zarate or just anybody that could really put their foot on the ball, beat a player, go left or right. And now we're blessed because we've got Payet, we've got Lanzini who can do that. We've got Moses now. So yeah, hopefully Zarate comes on at some point, and obviously we've got Song to look forward to soon, which is good.
Yep, and before us three bugger off and we get the predictions from them, remember and subscribe to our show. Just hit that subscribe button and pop onto hammerschat.com. Give us all your reviews. Neck on the line time, boys. Gonzo, you still not got any score prediction right.
Hold on a second. You're getting all cocky, but for somebody who's supposedly so good at predictions, you're not doing very well in the Hammers Chat Prediction League, may I say.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, boy.
Yeah, well, I'm ahead in the marathon, mate, at the moment. Do you know what I mean? You're still running around grabbing cups of water and all the rest of it. I'm steaming off into the sunset. So I think I'm going to go, pressure's on, I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, which will be a good result.
You've just built your prediction up there a wee bit anyway. Ryan, what's your prediction then? Come on.
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be an open game. I can see Palace scoring, but I think we are going to nick it 2-1.
I definitely prefer that prediction. I think it all depends on when the first goal goes in. I think if it goes in early, I think there's going to be goals galore, but I think the longer it goes on, I think the more we might tighten up and both teams will probably look to avoid this getting beat. But I'm going to go for the draw as well, and I'm going for 2-2. I wonder if there's any Premier League team gone 3 2-2 draws in a row. But oh well, that's what I'm going for anyway. 2-2 it is for me. 1-1 from Gonzo, 2-1 from Ryan, and we'll find out who is right. And pop onto hammerschat.com and join the prediction lead and give us your predictions for all the Premier League games this season. Thank you very much, Gonzo.
Thank you very much.
And Ryan, thank you very much again for giving up your time and popping on.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
And we'll be back with a review of the game, as will Hammers Fans TV, and you can check their channel out as well to see what they were saying, a bit more detail about us though. But anyway, thank you for joining us again, and good night.